I still remember one of the toughest days of my preparation. I fell for this habit 4 times a day. But that one day turned into two, and that turned into a week. My working hours reduced, self-confidence reduced, and I got depressed. We were a middle class family, and my mom pawned her jewels for my education expenses. So with fear to control it, I went to a nearby temple and I made this promise that if I fell for this bad habit again, my mom will die. Dumb, but it worked. But recently I tried a scientific method and it literally rewired my brain to forget porn. Let's discuss it in this video. Hi, I'm Rahuram Chanthrakumar, alum of IIT Madras. Let's get started. To understand this method, it's important to understand what changes happen to our brain when we watch porn. Recently, I came across a shocking story of an aspirant. He writes, "My heart is heavy as I say this, but I come from a middle class family and I'm the poorest boy among my classmates. My parents are spending lakhs of rupees on my coaching." Then he continues and writes, "I humbly request your help to survive." So this aspirant was a bright student at younger age. He even had dreams of studying in Harvard and MIT. But as he writes, "I never used to be like this in 9th and 10th standard. However, due to COVID and online classes, I had developed a porn addiction and that has completely consumed me. And after that, his brain is so destroyed that in his 11th standard, he admits he passed by cheating." So how does porn ruin a bright student's ability to learn? The first reality is frequent porn consumers exhibit altered prefrontal connectivity. And sadly, prefrontal connectivity is the part of brain responsible for focus, making decision, and solving complex problems. Second truth is disgusting, and we commonly see these people in real life. Have you heard of Pavlov's fantasy loop? In 1990s, a Russian scientist named Ivan Pavlov rang a bell every time he gave food to his dogs. And after some days, the dogs started salivating just from hearing the bell, even when no food was given. The same way, when we watch porn, our brain wants masturbation. Over the time, if we get addicted, even when a girl dresses slightly modern in public, our brain gets triggered and craves masturbation or sex, just like Pavlov's dog craves food, and that leads to masturbation in public places. Finally, let me ask you a question. Would you, a month before the most important exam of your life, wake up and spend half day watching porn? Well, that happened to a student. That student, a month before his JE, when his friends were preparing for Haas, he was spending hours every day to porn and masturbation. He finds it so addictive that he didn't just stop with it. Rest of the day, he involved in multiple porn and sexting telegram groups. Above all, he has big ego and had involved in constant fights with his parents. So he was lonely and had no one to talk about this. With guilt and desperate to get out of this, he shared his concern over Reddit. After reading it, I researched to find the cause. What I understood was porn rewired his brain to hyperstimulation. There is something called dopamine. Dopamine is a reward hormone which gets created in brain whenever we do things that feels good, like doing masturbation, eating a chocolate. But dopamine is not biased. Even when we score well in exams or while achieving in sports, we feel good and we get motivated to do the same things again to achieve. So dopamine also play a role in motivation, but unlike other activities that triggers dopamine,
sex, both the pursuit of sex and the act of sex, increases dopamine 2 times.
So when we get addicted to porn, our brain will be hyperstimulated in such a way that it doesn't get motivated to do activities that cause relatively less dopamine, like studying. So to reverse it, we need to perform. To simplify it, I organized what I learned and implemented in 4 steps. Before moving on, hey GATE aspirants, big update. GATE just launched some crazy new batches and offers. After talking to so many students, I can tell you PW students absolutely crushed GATE 2025. The results speaks for themselves, and that's why I strongly recommend their programs. And right now, you can get up to 75% off on all GATE and ESE batches under their semester end offer. You can pick the Super 1500 batch for GATE 2026 or even the long-term Sreshad GATE 2028 batch, whatever fits your journey. But the must-have for every GATE 2026 aspirant is the GATE Test Series 2026. It's just $599 and it's a limited time deal, so grab it before it's gone. Now also experience infinite learning with Batch Infinity from PW, offering GATE Kasana PVQ books, test series, practice workbooks, access to Super 1500 back and more. Do check it out. And you can use code RAGHU500 to get 500 rupees off. Let's get into the video. Now let's get back to our system. First, make it easy. 30 days of no porn, no social media. Will you be able to do that? Huberman mentioned that one kid was a serial video game addict.
In his case, he was feeling depressed. He thought he had ADHD.
All of a sudden cuts off from all dopamine spiking activities.
Not incidentally, his overall mood are up. He's doing far, far better. His levels of concentration are back. I'm not making this up. He's exercising again.
But the problem is, while my bachelor's, there was a time for a subject, the college recruited a new professor, and in his first class, while he was writing in board, a student shouted a troll word. Sir immediately felt sad and left the class. In the next day, on his period, along with sir, all faculties along with HOD of our department came to class, locked doors and asked us who said that. No one opened up. So they collected all students' phone and told, no matter whether your dad is a big shot, everyone's phone will be returned only when the class admits who is the culprit. Day 1 turned to 2, it turned to a week, but no one opened up. And worst, we don't know when someone will open up. I literally lost my sanity at that time. Fortunately, that guy itself went after a week and surrendered. What I knew was, for ordinary people like me, the time frame is too long. It's impossible to cut off addictions for even just 1 to 2 days. After researching more on this, I did a 7-day dopamine detox and it worked. So step 1, plan a 7-day dopamine detox. After being into this, I also observed one thing, that I started chasing for healthy dopamine spikes. Like, there are certain projects I've been procrastinating for months because I had to travel across the country to meet higher authorities. But being into this, I was like, come on, let's do that. Highly motivated. Oh, by the way, if you're a Gator JE aspirant, subscribe. I can't wait to share that video with you all. Let's get into the video. And to be motivated in this journey, implement paperclip strategy. It simply is, at the end of the day, after successful detox, track the success in such a way we can see it visibly. Because providing clear evidence that we are making progress is motivating. To make it easy, I shared a simple tracker. One can download it in a click through this QR code. Download, stick it in a place which you can't miss seeing it every day, and track your success every day. Step 2, make it impossible to fail. I had an uncle who is unfortunately no more and had died due to liquor addiction. He drinks so much that he died at a younger age before getting their daughters married. And uncle is irresponsible too. Used to fight with aunt, who in morning works some coolie job to run the family. My uncle, being a daily drinker and not regular in opening his shop, on days when he had no money, he fights with aunt to take her money to drink. One time on a family function, aunt was sharing her pain with her family members. At that time, she told a point. During COVID, when liquor shops were closed, there is no fight. He seems to be a normal man. Lot of peace in home. But unfortunately, uncle died post-COVID. The reason I shared this is, as James Clear writes in Atomic Habits, the best way to prevent a bad habit is to make it impossible to do. This brings us to tool. App recommendation 1. I researched many apps to make sites impossible to access, like Stay Focused browser extension. It was so promising that if we turn on its nuclear option, it's impossible to access the site during the specified time. But if we delete the extension from browser, we can again access the sites. So we don't have any options than installing cold turkey, wherein it's impossible for us to delete the app when the blocker is turned on. That's why it's also been called the toughest website blocker on the internet. For easy access, you can download this app directly through this QR code. But sadly, it doesn't have a mobile version, and nowadays smartphones are very essential for our preparation. But reality is, smartphones are designed to be more addictive than laptops. Have you heard of Google's M&M experiment? Normally in Google, like every MNCs, for their employees, they provide high standard food for free. One time, Google was shocked that their employees were eating milk chocolates more often than they normally eat. And Google wanted their employees to make healthier choices. So they did a study, and what they did was, they changed the chocolates from high visible glass jar into an opaque jar. This simple change reduced the consumption of chocolate by 3.1 million calories in just 7 weeks in New York office alone. As James Clear writes in Atomic Habit, once you notice something, you begin to want it. This process is happening all the time, often without realizing it. I do the same. 8 out of 10 times, I open WhatsApp subconsciously when I accidentally see its icon opposed to my actual need. So the best strategy is to cut down all visible triggers. This brings us to app recommendation 2. Install minimalistic phone launcher, which hides app icons and makes us to actively search to open an app. But it's more than that. Implement this 3-step minimalistic launcher setup that will cut down your phone time by 300%. First, block the most addictive apps like Chrome and Instagram. I blocked both, and there is no option out there to unblock it. Second, hide required but addictive apps. Scientifically, when we get depressed or bored or experiencing any negative emotions, our brain will crave to feel better. We have already blocked addictive apps, but certain apps are impractical to block. Like for me, I need to use WhatsApp and LinkedIn to communicate communicate with my team. So hide these apps, as this added friction is an added level of security for us. Third, place the essential apps on home page. This will save a lot of time and mindless scrolling. For easy access, you can download this app directly through this QR code. One for Android and one for iOS. One thing I had to say, I didn't expected this. My phone time went down from 2 hours on average to less than 20 minutes a day. Just check it out. Once we made a system to make our detox impossible to fail, step 3, don't be lonely. If I look back myself, the time when I fell for this bad habit is when I'm lonely or depressed or both. But I never fell for this habit when I was with my friends or parents, despite experiencing much bigger failures than when I'm alone. Step 4, rebuild your daily routine. To be honest, I wasted 15 lakhs of my parents' money doing bachelors. But in my very first month, I studied like that student. Even at that time, I thought I'll build something like Iron Man suit by the end of the college. Just like me, there is a university student at US studied very hard when he joined college. But despite his hard work, he was unable to perform well in academics. That got him depressed and eventually to porn addiction. He got into it so deep that he binge watched porn 3 weeks, which he mentioned did nothing but watched porn. But he fights back. But along with fighting back, he builds systems to get work done and be the best version of himself every day. I believe the ultimate goal we are fighting this is to succeed in life. And for that, we need to be the best version of ourselves. I researched for the faster ways to recovery and perform at an elite level. Here are 3 essential things for your daily routine. Number 1, if there is a cheat code for reversing the brain damage caused by porn addiction, it's sleep. A solid 8 hours sleep will also multiply your motivation, learning ability and focus. Number 2, if you're a student and planning for an academic comeback, then consistent physical exercise is your second cheat code. 45-minute exercise session will improve your discipline, reduce your craving, and that leads to be more consistent in studies. Number 3, do deep work. Build a habit of studying. While studying, unplug yourself. No phones, no sites, no social media, even no social at all. And start small. There is a technique I learned from motivation hacker book called Success Spiral that works every single time. It simply is a strategy of starting something small and gradually increasing its intensity to an ideal one. Example, start with a 2-hour deep study session. That small win give a dopamine boost and that motivates us to do the same next day. But in the next day, instead of 2-hour session, study 2 or 15 minutes. Likewise, gradually increase your intensity every day. You got it right. And I made a free PDF listing the steps discussed in this video in a simple and organized manner to make it easier for you. So download the free PDF through this QR code with one click. And if you are looking for a scientific method to plan your day and build a daily routine, recently I started using a notebook to plan my day and it literally got me addicted to my daily routine. And if you also wanted to learn the art of planning and building a perfect daily routine, then check out this video. Stay driven. Bye-bye.
But I see the light from far away, it's down the line. Maybe I should not give up without a